Hi everybody and welcome back to Projectotron, the prediction site with a difference. Today we're going to be focusing on Group E, where Switzerland are facing off against Honduras, and the Swiss need to get a result out of this, Rory.
They really do, yeah. Well, because they can't rely on France putting away Ecuador. They may well do that. I mean, they have the absolute ability to, but Ecuador really need the win. Ecuador will be going for in that match. So, you know, the Swiss have it in their own hands to get the result they need. A draw is likely going to be enough because even though they have an inferior goal difference to Ecuador, that'll get that'll get chipped away at over the course of the game. I think.
If we look at the group just contextually, France already through.
Yeah, it's all they need to do is dot the I's and cross the T's, but they're through. I mean,
for all intents and purposes, France are through.
An insurmountable goal difference at this stage. So
yeah, on the assumption that Ecuador don't put 5 or 6 past them,
yes,
and the Swiss put 5 or 6 past Honduras,
yeah, France are.
We think France are done. So, are you questioning their motivation against Ecuador?
I'm just questioning their motivation for really going for it. A draw sees them through as group leaders anyway. In fact, a loss will probably see them through as group leaders anyway. Yeah. Not that they'll aim for the loss. They will aim for the win, of course, but they don't need it. So if Ecuador take the lead in that game, you know, that could end up being a very interesting match. But here in Honduras and Switzerland, which is going to be in Manaus as well, a lot like the...
back in the sweatbox.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it could be played at a very, very slow pace. You can imagine... I don't know if the Alpine gentleman will be so accustomed to that sort of humidity.
No, that's fair enough.
Whereas Honduras will probably be a bit more accustomed to it. Now, I still think the Swiss team are superior, and they're capable of getting the result they need because they need to go for it. I mean, a win... in all likelihood sees them through as well, despite whatever happens in whatever happens between Ecuador and France. But Honduras may, just because of the environmental conditions, they may actually be able to put up a performance that is worthy of their performance against Ecuador last week. It was actually quite a fun game.
Yeah, it was a great game.
It was really good. They've got Wilson Palacios is back. So, you know, they have a little bit more steel then in the middle of the park. That being said, I think it's going to be a tight victory for the Swiss.
Okay.
Whether it sees them through or not, well, we can talk about that in a second. How about yourself?
I agree with you. I think that the Swiss are going to just about have enough. I think they showed against France that they can, when the other team make defensive lapses, they can score, they can take advantage of set pieces, and they can take advantage of defensive errors. I think, realistically, you're looking at a team who have scored 4 goals so far in the competition against a team who have scored 1. Switzerland can put the ball away, and I fear that in terms of Honduran attack, they're going to offer nothing. The return of Wilson Palacios is actually a little bit counterintuitive. Like you say, it adds steel to the centre of the midfield, but it also robs them of a bit of creativity. I think that the Swiss are probably going to have enough, and I agree. I think 1-0 is your safest bet here if you're going correct score betting. Whether or not that's enough, I'm not so sure either. But what about Projectotron?
Projectotron reckons that this will be a 0-0. It reckons it will be one of the most boring games of the competition, and maybe because of the environmental conditions. If it's anywhere near as hot as it was for Portugal-USA, then yeah, that could really be a factor because that game was played at an incredibly slow pace. Despite being a really good game to watch. I don't think that either of these teams, Switzerland or Honduras, are going to put up the same kind of match that we saw in Manaus previously. So, Projectotron reckons 0-0. It's kind of hard to argue with that because I was tempted to lean that way as well.
I was torn between 0-0 and the 1-0 too. Whether that's enough for the Swiss, if the French turn on the style like they've done previously, that can be enough to see Switzerland through.
Yeah, true.
So we don't know, depending on the context of the games at the time. The Swiss might settle for a 0-0, and they could be looking at sitting pretty without even having to exert too much energy.
It's true. Yeah. It all depends on the Ecuador-France result.
Okay, so there you have it. Our predictions for Honduras against Switzerland. Rory and I both agree that it's going to be a 1-0 win to Switzerland, whereas Projectotron is calling it a 0-0 draw. All three of us seem to think that the Swiss are going to need to go for it if they want to qualify. That's our view on Group E. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for more videos, more updates, more analysis. We look forward to seeing you then, and enjoy the football.